Once upon a time there was a kingdom. The king of that kingdom had only one eye and one leg, yet he was extremely intelligent and kind. Because of his wisdom and kindness, everyone in his kingdom lived happily and in good health. One day, as the king was walking through the palace hallway, he noticed the portraits of his ancestors hanging on the walls. He thought to himself that someday his children would walk through this same hallway and remember their ancestors by looking at those portraits. But then he realized that his own portrait was not there. Because of his physical disabilities, he felt unsure about how his portrait would look. So he invited many famous painters from his kingdom and nearby kingdoms to his royal court. The king announced that he wanted a beautiful portrait of himself to be placed in the palace, and whoever could paint it well would be rewarded generously. Hearing this, all the painters started thinking. The king had only one eye and one leg. How could his portrait possibly look beautiful? They feared that if the painting did not look pleasing, the king might become angry and punish them. So, one by one, they all began making excuses and politely refused to paint the king. Then suddenly, one painter stepped forward and raised his hand. He said with confidence, "Your Majesty, I will paint a very beautiful portrait of you, one that you will surely like." The king felt happy hearing his words, and the other painters became curious. The king gave him permission, and the painter began his work. He carefully drew the portrait and slowly filled it with colors. After a long time of effort, he finally announced that the portrait was complete. Everyone in the court, including the courtiers and painters, felt nervous and curious. They wondered how the painter could make the king look beautiful despite his physical condition. They feared the king might get angry if he didn't like it. But when the painter revealed the portrait, everyone in the court was left completely stunned. In the painting, the king was sitting proudly on a horse, positioned in a way that showed only one leg. He was holding a bow, aiming an arrow, with one eye naturally closed as archers do while focusing on their target. The king was extremely pleased. The painter had created a beautiful portrait by presenting the king's strength instead of his weaknesses. The king immediately rewarded the painter with great honor and wealth. Moral of this story: we should always see the good in others and not focus on their shortcomings. When we choose to see things positively, even difficult situations can be handled in a better and wiser way.